Rain tapped softly against the train window, blurring the autumn countryside rushing past. Claire pressed her palm to the cold glass and exhaled slowly. She hadn't been back to Riverton in 25 years. She wasn't sure if she belonged there anymore, or if she ever had. Her mother's funeral was tomorrow. That alone would have been reason enough for her return. But deep down, Claire knew there was another reason her stomach twisted with nerves. Elena. The name had lived under her skin for decades, tucked away like an old scar that never fully faded. First love, first heartbreak, the first time she'd truly known herself, and the first time she'd run from it. Claire was 19, terrified of small-town whispers, of her strict father, of the way her own reflections seemed to accuse her of sins she hadn't yet named. Elena, wild-haired and free, had been everything she wasn't. Brave, honest, unapologetic. And when Claire had left for New York, she hadn't just left her hometown. She'd left Elena standing on that same train platform, eyes shining with unshed tears, lips pressed tight to keep from begging her to stay. Claire squeezed her eyes shut at the memory. 25 years hadn't erased it. The station smelled the same. Old wood, rain, and coffee from the little kiosk that somehow survived all these years. Claire stepped onto the platform, her suitcase rolling behind her. She felt like a stranger stepping into a ghost town that still remembered her. "Claire?" The voice came from behind. Familiar, lower now, richer with age. Claire froze. Slowly, she turned. Elena! She stood there in a dark green coat, her hair streaked with silver, but still curling rebelliously around her face. Her eyes, those deep, ocean green eyes, met Claire's, and suddenly 2.5 decades collapsed into nothing. Elena, Claire whispered. Her throat tightened, her chest burned. For a moment, neither woman moved. Then Elena smiled faintly. Not the mischievous grin Claire remembered, but something softer, sadder. "I heard about your mother. I'm sorry." "Thank you," Claire managed. She wanted to say 1,000 things. How are you? Do you still live here? Did you hate me for leaving? But all that came out was, "You look good." "So do you," Elena replied, though her voice carried an edge, like a violin string stretched too tight. Silence stretched between them, thick with everything unspoken. Finally, Elena shifted her bag on her shoulder. "I should let you get settled. It's good to see you again, Claire." And just like that, she turned to go. Claire's heart lurched. She'd let her walk away once. She couldn't do it again. "Elena, wait!" Elena stopped, half-turned, her expression unreadable. "Could we maybe talk? Sometime this week?" Claire's voice trembled. "There are things I should have said years ago." Elena studied her for a long moment, as if weighing the years between them. Finally, she nodded. "Thursday. The cafe on Main. 2:00. Then she walked away, leaving Claire standing in the rain, her heart racing like she was 19 again. The funeral was suffocating. Neighbors offered condolences. Old classmates she barely remembered hugged her stiffly. Claire moved through it all like a ghost. But her eyes kept searching the crowd, hoping, dreading to see Elena. She didn't. That night, alone in her childhood bedroom, she found the shoebox under the bed where she'd hidden old letters and photographs. She pulled out one picture, her and Elena at 17, sitting on the dock by the river, arms slung around each other, grinning like the world was theirs. Her fingers shook as she traced Elena's smile. "God, what did I do?" she whispered to the empty room. Thursday arrived too soon. Claire sat at a corner table in the cafe, hands wrapped around a mug of untouched tea. The bell above the door chimed. And there she was, Elena. On time, of course. Always on time. She wore a soft sweater the color of midnight, her hair pulled back, her presence filling the little cafe like it always filled Claire's world. "Hi," Elena said, sliding into the chair across from her. "Hi." Claire's smile was shaky. "Thank you for coming." "I almost didn't," Elena admitted. She stirred her cappuccino absent-mindedly. "I wasn't sure I wanted to reopen old wounds." Claire's throat ached. "I wouldn't blame you if you walked out right now, but I hoped you wouldn't." Something flickered in Elena's eyes. She didn't leave. For a long moment, they sat in silence, the hum of the cafe surrounding them. Finally, Elena spoke. "Why, Claire? Why did you leave me? Not just the town, me." The question hit like a punch. Claire's carefully rehearsed excuses evaporated. Only the truth remained. "I was terrified," she whispered, "of my father, of the church, of what people would say, but most of all, I was terrified of how much I loved you, because that love, it demanded that I be brave, and I wasn't. Not then." Elena's expression softened, though her eyes glistened. "I thought what we had was worth fighting for." "It was," Claire said. "It was worth everything. I just didn't know how to see it then." For the first time in decades, tears slipped down her cheeks. "Leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life, Elena." Elena stared at her, silent, her hands tightening around her cup. Finally, she whispered, "I came to the station that morning. I thought maybe you'd change your mind, that maybe you'd stay for me." Claire's heart shattered all over again. "Elena," she began, but her voice failed her. Elena looked down at her coffee, then back up. "I'm not 19 anymore, Claire. My life is here. I've built something. Letting you back in? It's not simple." "I know," Claire said quickly. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know the truth." Elena studied her for a long moment. Then, softly, "Maybe we'll see where the truth takes us." The cafe conversation lingered in Claire's chest long after she walked out into the crisp October air. Elena's words had been cautious, measured, but not final. "Maybe we'll see where the truth takes us." It was more than Claire deserved, but it was enough to breathe life into the hollow space she had carried for 25 years. The next afternoon, Claire wandered down Main Street, trying to reacquaint herself with the town she had fled. The bookstore was gone, replaced by a bright craft shop. The diner where she and Elena used to share milkshakes after class was still there, its neon sign flickering stubbornly against time. And then she saw her, Elena, standing outside the florist shop, arms full of chrysanthemums. Their eyes met. Elena hesitated, then lifted her chin in a small nod. Her heart hammered. "Need a hand?" Claire asked, stepping forward. Elena's lips twitched. "They're for the school fundraiser. Unless you plan on coming to help wrangle 30 teenagers, I think I've got it." "I could try," Claire offered, surprising herself. And just like that, Elena said, "All right then. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Riverton High Gym. Don't wear anything you like too much." The gym smelled of varnish and echoes of basketball games. Claire arrived to find chaos. Students arranging flowers, painting posters, dropping things, laughing too loud. And there was Elena, in jeans and a Riverton High sweatshirt, her sleeves rolled up, her presence filling the little whirlwind with calm authority. When she spotted Claire, she raised an eyebrow. "You actually came." "I said I would." Together, they wrangled teenagers, untangled ribbons, and hauled tables. Every so often, their hands brushed, and each time, Claire felt a jolt like static electricity. At one point, a student dropped a vase, water spilling across the floor. Elena rushed over, kneeling to mop it up. Claire crouched beside her, their shoulders bumping. "Some things never change," Elena muttered, wringing the towel. Like what? You. Still diving into messes you don't need to. Claire smiled faintly. Or maybe I'm trying not to run from them anymore. Elena stilled, meeting her eyes. For a beat heart, the world fell away. The students, the noise, the years. Just the two of them, caught in the gravity of something they'd both tried to escape. Then Elena cleared her throat, standing quickly. Hand me that towel, would you? The moment broke, but the echo of it stayed with Claire long after she walked out into the crisp October air. They began seeing each other in small ways. Coffee after the fundraiser, a walk by the river on Sunday morning. The riverbank looked almost the same as it had in their youth, though the wooden dock was weathered, boards loose beneath. Thursday evening, the autumn sky burned in shades of gold and crimson as Claire walked along the familiar path to the old train station. The platform was nearly deserted now, the tracks rusted, the air filled with the faint scent of leaves decaying. It was here, 25 years ago, that she had last seen Elena's face, blurred by tears, framed by the smoke of a departing train. And now, as if history itself wanted to be rewritten, Elena was there again, standing at the edge of the platform. Claire's breath caught. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. Elena turned, her green eyes catching the fading light. You found me. I'd never lose you again, Claire whispered, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. They stood in silence, the air between them heavy with everything left unsaid. Finally, Elena spoke. When you left, she said quietly, I told myself I'd never give you another chance. That if you didn't want to fight for us then, you didn't deserve to now. But these last few weeks, you've been different. Older, wiser, still stubborn as hell, but different. Claire swallowed, her chest aching. I've spent years running from who I was. From us. I don't want to run anymore. Elena studied her for a long time, as though searching for cracks, for weakness. I'm terrified, Claire. If I let you back in, I need to know you won't vanish again. My heart, it's not as young as it used to be. It doesn't heal as easily. Claire stepped closer, her voice trembling but steady. I can't promise life won't be messy. But I can promise that I'll show up every single day. I'll fight for us no matter how hard it gets. I didn't choose courage 25 years ago. I'm choosing it now. Elena's lips parted, her breath shallow. For a long heartbeat, neither moved. Then, slowly, she reached out and touched Claire's hand. It was such a simple gesture, and yet it carried the weight of decades. Claire held her breath, terrified Elena would pull away. But she didn't. Instead, Elena's fingers intertwined with hers, tentative but real. I want to believe you. I want to believe it's not too late. Claire's throat tightened. It isn't. Some loves don't die, Elena. They just wait. The weeks that followed were slow, careful, like learning a new dance with familiar steps. Claire extended her stay in Riverton, helping Elena with school projects, meeting her friends, even cooking dinner in her modest kitchen. Sometimes they argued, old wounds reopened, missteps made, but neither walked away. One night, after a long day of grading papers, Elena leaned against Claire on the couch, exhaustion softening her edges. You know, she murmured, I used to imagine this. Coming home after work, sitting like this with you, simple things, ordinary things. Claire pressed a kiss to her hair. Ordinary is all I want. Ordinary with you is extraordinary to me. Elena smiled faintly, but tears glistened in her eyes. I'm not the same girl you loved back then. I've got scars, Claire.
Years of disappointment, regrets. So do I, Claire admitted. But maybe that's why we're better now. We're not chasing some perfect fantasy. We're building something real. Winter crept in slowly, and with it came a decision Claire could no longer avoid. One snowy evening, she sat at Elena's kitchen table, staring at a plane ticket back to New York. Her apartment lease, her job, her life, all waiting. Elena noticed the silence. "When do you fly back?" she asked, voice steady but eyes wary. Claire took a deep breath. "I canceled it." Elena blinked. "What?" "I'm not going back. At least, not to stay. I talked to my firm. I can work remotely part-time for now. Maybe build something new here eventually." She met Elena's stunned gaze. "I don't want to live a life 1,000 miles away from you anymore." Elena's lips trembled. "Claire, are you sure? This town isn't New York. You'll be giving up so much." Claire reached across the table, taking her hand. "None of it matters without you. I've had success, money, apartments with perfect views, but every night I went to bed alone, wishing I'd chosen differently on that train platform. I don't care about skyscrapers anymore. I care about us." Elena's tears spilled over, her shoulders shaking. "I was so angry at you for so long, but maybe you're right. Maybe this love didn't die. Maybe it was just waiting." Claire cupped her face, wiping away the tears. "Then let's stop waiting." Spring came, and with it, a quiet rebirth. Claire and Elena walked hand in hand through the park, cherry blossoms fluttering like confetti around them. Neighbors glanced, some with surprise, others with warmth, but neither woman cared. That evening, they sat on the old river dock, feet dangling above the water as the sun dipped below the horizon. "This was always my favorite place with you," Elena said softly, "because it felt like ours." Elena leaned her head against her shoulder. "It still does." They sat in silence, listening to the gentle lapping of the water, and for the first time in decades, Claire felt truly at peace. Not because the past was erased, but because it was acknowledged. Wounds healed, slowly, imperfectly, trust rebuilt, brick by fragile brick. She turned to Elena, heartful. "I love you. Not just the memory of who you were, but the woman sitting beside me right now. The one who stayed. The one who's brave enough to try again." Elena's eyes shone in the fading light. "I love you too. And this time, we face the world together." That night, as they walked back to Elena's house, Clara thought about the train station, about the girl she once was, scared, running. She thought about the woman that she had become, older, scarred, but finally brave enough to choose love. Life didn't offer do-overs, but sometimes, if you were lucky, it offered second chances. And standing in the doorway of Elena's home, laughter echoing between them, Claire realized she was finally, truly home. Elena and Claire finally dared to love again after 25 long years. But their journey only begins. Will this second chance survive the weight of their past in the eyes of a small town, or will love slip away once more? If you want to know what happens next, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon because their story is only just beginning.